count your chickens before the slaughter.
That is not the saying.
That's how I say it.
I do it biggie like Diddy. It's Dana this, Dana that. Everything's Dana, Dana, Dana. Let him the man.
Just take all the time in the world to, noodle.
We're gonna deliver on time, and he's gonna rue the day that he gave us the exact working conditions we've been asking for the last 15 to 20 years.
Team Mythic Quest, thank you all so much for joining me again. It's a pleasure to speak with you all.
Hi there.
Hi.
Lovely to speak.
Good to see you again, Dave. Fun shirt.
There's so much going on in this season, and I'm usually handed like a full list of stuff that I can't talk about. So I fear there's very little we can talk about specifically. So please do excuse the somewhat generic question here. But what has been your favourite part about returning to Mythic Quest in Season 4?
For me, it's been so fun to be messy. It's been fun for Carol to act a fool, be inappropriate, make some mistakes, perhaps break hearts and change lives in a way that we have not seen her before, because I think up until now, she's been everybody's reluctant therapist. And this season, she really causes some trouble.
I feel like Jo gets to go on such a journey this season of self-discovery, and where that leads her is really funny. And specifically, episode 4 is something I'm really excited for people to watch, because it's kind of like a one-off within the cast. We all leave the office and we go and do a special murder mystery party in period costumes, and Megan Ganz, who's a big Agatha Christie fan, was the one who wrote and directed that episode, and I think that her expertise is really well showcased in that episode.
This is a question that I asked of all the performers last season, and I think it still holds up now, and I'd love to ask it again and to see how your answer has changed over time. Mythic Quest has such a great focus on ensemble with an incredible, beautiful tapestry of stories, and I think this show perhaps does it better than anything else that's on at the moment. Each season the characters grow deeper, more complex, they grow new dimensions. How has it been for you as performers to evolve with and alongside your characters over these 4 seasons?
Thinking about Brad's season 3 response. I went from being a janitor to now back here at MQ.
That's true.
I think it shows the show. We've gone to many different places and we keep expanding, and the writers keep surprising us with new twists and new backstories. For me, it's really exciting to go to a new place this year. We get to see Brad outside of the office a little bit more and see a relationship and see him grow up a little bit more. I think it's our 4th season, so it's natural for us to see what else makes each of us tick, and who we are. Outside of the office, I think felt very good too. And it's a question I've had. I've always wanted to follow Brad home and wonder what it's like, because he leaves no evidence at work of his personal life. So to me, it could be anything. And I think the direction that we take this year in his relationship, I think it's fantastic. And Megan and the writers did such a wonderful job of showing Brad in a relationship and humanizing him a little bit. And I think that helps us understand his villainy a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a lot of fun in that because, there's a lot of space between seasons, right? Like we take, especially this last season, it was almost 2 years between. But so in a way, when the character shifts a little bit, you get a chance to take a different tack. You know what I mean? So you never get, you never get that feeling of being in a rut or like, oh, am I doing the same thing I always do? And that's really fun, especially over, now 5 years with these characters.
I wish I remembered what I said last season so I could also compare in my own brain, but I don't. Because it was 70 years ago. What came up when you asked that was that I feel really grateful that our EPs are so open to trying new things with these characters and finding what the most interesting and funny angles are on all of them. We always try to keep a core of what makes the character, because that's important. You can't have Brad suddenly raising rescue animals. Well, he actually might raise rescue animals.
We don't know anything about him.
We don't know anything about him. But, something that you're like, what? Brad does that? You don't want that. But to paint with more shades in all of the characters for comedy and also for drama and whatever it happens to be. So yeah, it makes me really grateful that we as a show do that and that our EPs are so open to I think we did a lot of funny stuff, for example, with Imani's character, Dana, this season. Mm-hmm. And I think, some of that came from just, I think, everyone knowing Imani better.
Yeah. And also us saying to her, hey, bring you. Like, you don't have to say the words exactly as they're written. Like, if you have a impulse to do something, you know your character now, just do it. Like, just play off of each other. I think when we started really feeling her sense of comedy was like with Poppy. When we paired them up, we were like, oh, this is funny. Poppy is so mean to her. And Imani is so good at playing that, like, just staring back at her. And then you just see Charlotte wilt. And it's just like, it's great.
Oh man, I feel like Dana is just like a completely different character at this point, and in a good way. Yeah, she's just fully embracing this dark side of her, you know? Like, we knew she was ambitious. We know that, but like, what form does that take? And now we're learning that she's a lot more similar to Brad and Joe than I didn't know, you know?
Yeah.
Very surprised.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's so much more confident in her body and just willing to take risks. You know, she picked up some skills and tools from Ian and Poppy last season, working under both of them and Grim Pop, and then she like took that and ran with it, and now she's just like unabashedly herself and just moves like a freaking sniper. Yeah, and kind of just like, if to her, she's just like foot on the gas, you know, no release. And sometimes that might hurt her, but I think it's elevated her and helped her so much to just like fully thrive in this new level of her success with Cozy Galaxy.
Yeah, I think it's pretty common with television shows that the characters kind of stay at this sort of static space because you don't want to change the show too much. But something that our show is really unique in is that they take huge swings and they let people develop. They send Brad to prison, and then we watch him, evolve from that. And I just have really loved watching Joe, getting to understand why Joe is the way that she is, which I think they've done really well.
Yeah. Do you feel that you have evolved as performers alongside your characters as well?
Yes, definitely. I've never done this many hours as one character.
Yeah.
So it's really an interesting muscle to strengthen and to figure out. Like, I know I write myself an exit interview when we wrap a season so that I have like tips from the previous season that I wrote myself about like how we are standing and how different songs I was listening to over the season and certain things that the character learned over the season so that it's easier each season to come back and jump right back into it.
And Megan, for you as a creator, producer, writer, director, how has it been for you to see these characters kind of come to life and evolve over what is now essentially 40 episodes?
Yeah, that was something that we did intentionally. For me, it was a result of my first sitcom that I wrote on was Community. And I remember Dan Harmon saying that when they originally thought of the ensemble, he thought that Chevy Chase and Donald Glover's characters, Pierce and Troy, were going to be a duo. Like a double act.
Really?
Yes, that was what was the intention, was this old guy and this young like football player were going to be like this double act.
Wow.
And then what happened was that Donald Glover and Danny Pudi sat down next to each other and instantly clicked as like best friends for life. And they were so that then the show had to write to that because it was it just happened. So I think like it really taught me, ensembles are made by chemistry, and chemistry is not, I was never good at science, so I don't know how it works. So what I like to do is like try things out and then be open to different connections and different things coming up out of characters that you wouldn't have expected. Like, totally. I think with your character, we thought, oh, it's really funny if she's super idealistic. And then we started realizing, like, I think because there was a lot of you asking, like, why does my character believe these things? And it was funnier to us that she doesn't have good reason. Like, she's very shallow. It's like, she believes it because Instagram told her to believe that. That's why. So yeah, it's been really a joy to see what kind of things the actors, what talents they have that we can exploit and then weave those into the show.
Yeah.
Ashley, Megan, Danny, Imani, you have all directed episodes this season. In fact, Ashley and Megan, you wrote episodes. as well this time round. You have all actually directed episodes in the past, other than Imani, first-time director, which is awesome. I'd love to know how fun or perhaps challenging is it for you to take on these kind of extra responsibilities on top of everything else that you do on the show?
You know, I would say it is fun. Like it's always fun to be able to stretch yourself in new mediums of your art. But the thing that I found challenging is being able to act and direct at the same time, and there we go, finding that balance again.
Balance.
But I learned so much about myself that I felt like, you know, even though it was like quite intimidating and nerve-wracking, we are all very capable when our backs are against the wall, you know, and like, and also just like we're all very supported on this show. Megan, David, Rob, our crew, they had our backs, and so it was just like I would say as smooth as it could be to bring this vision to life, and I'm grateful that I got to have this experience as a first-time director on a show that I love and I know very well.
Yeah, I'll just echo that. I think it's really helpful that we know each other so well, and so there's a shorthand and there's an ability to communicate messages in a way that is easy, you know, because it is a very collaborative set and everyone knows us and everyone wants to make the best thing possible. So everyone wants to win and support each other. So it feels very natural. It's just kind of the way that we film. Feels like we're always adapting and changing and being nimble. And a lot of great problem solvers on our set. So it's great, because if you don't have an answer to a question, I can come to Imani or anybody, and it's not a big deal, and somebody will help you. So that is really exciting, and also just a cool, different way of entering stories in our world. It makes me appreciate different aspects of our show even more.
Mm-hmm.
And Jessie and Naomi, you are pretty much the only two cast members who haven't directed or written an episode. Would you like to? Is this something that you'd love to see yourselves doing further down the line in the show?
Yes, absolutely. I would love to do that. And this group is such a safe group to do it with, because we're all rooting for each other and everyone just wants each other to do a good job because it benefits the group.
And Jessie's really good. She'd be a good director. Me, I'm okay. I'm good. Carol's good. I don't need like more responsibility. I'm having so much fun. So happy to be here. Dave, stop trying to put me to more work. Okay, Dave? Okay, Dave, I'm tired.
Well, I'll let the producers know on the way out.